There was a teacher who had to create a lesson and a plan to address popular sovereignty and the modern-day issues at hand. This was a teacher who loves to aim high, yet she stood for a moment as these thoughts came by. What should we do? Will my students buy in? How can I prepare them for the future so we all win? She thought and thought, reflected in such. Research takes time. Resistance can be strong. Students will ask, why can't we just sing the same old song? Earning A's while we dance along. I'll have to teach proper citation, style, and such if we're going to do this right. She closed her eyes to think and organized a plan she'd deliver to her kids with a wink. Little by little, I'll teach them to think, create an e-portfolio to document their work, pushing them to show personal strengths. Make connections to what they already know. Get them started in the land of scholarly think by doing an academic article review. Then they'll decide what they want to know, create a paper proposal that must be approved to document where they want to go. Before I let them free, I'll teach them how to research and focus on information literacy. After much revise and revision, students will learn how to use these tools and devices to bring their authentic voice to life, conducting interviews, constructing videos that will allow them to share a powerful message. She knew it would take time to unfold, but knows the value of empowering those who will grow. So with a big leap forward, she was ready to go.
Right, so we started off with a paper proposal, then we had to choose from a list of general topics, and then we could kind of make it our own. And so we did that, and I decided what I wanted the main question to be in my paper, and then I went down to subcategories. So once I figured that out, I could start looking, just typing in anything that keywords that we thought of, and then to find any article, and we use some of the library references too. And then right now what I'm doing is I'm going through the articles that I found and just basically reading them and deciding how I can use them in my paper, which is the annotated reference thing. So, and then that's just citing it, and then what's the article about and how you can use it in your paper, and that's helping.
How do you think it's going to be writing your first draft, since you've done so much pre-work in terms of reading and annotated work or references, and then in the intro you have to write?
I still think it'll be kind of hard, but the way it's been broken down helps a lot, and getting different perspectives of the articles, so many different sources helps a lot because you have so much to choose from.
I'm kind of looking forward to the interesting information that I keep finding out, learning about these political behaviors and how it affects them and how it motivates people. It's very interesting to me, and how part of my topic is about the emerging technologies and how they use it, and it's pretty interesting how it's gotten much greater over the years, and they're getting more involved in technology and how it greatly helps them
with campaigns.
Oh yeah,
and just citizens in general, right? It's kind of interesting.
People are getting more involved. The presidential campaigns were using social media to try to gain more supporters for their campaigns, and that was pretty interesting to me.
Has any of it changed maybe how you think about or use social media, or do you think about how yourself when you do the research?
Yeah, it changed me a lot because now I'm starting to get more involved in it too. I've been looking those things up myself to research it, and it's pretty interesting to me.
As far as the e-portfolio goes, what do you think is kind of neat about that, or do you see any future ways to use an e-portfolio the way you're doing it? I know you're in the infancy of it.
Yeah, it helps because as soon as I'm done working on something, I add it to the site, which helps me. Like I have them all other places, but if I ever need to look at a bunch of different papers from that one, like from this one project, I can just go on there and they're all there, which helps a lot. And then I didn't really know you can make a site, so it's kind of cool. And then I can use it if I ever need to in the future with other projects or whatever it comes to be.
What do you think your site could tell someone about you?
I think it's a formal way of like getting them to know me, and like before they meet me in person or even after, they can get a more insight without me going to wait like so much detail about my project. They can just see it for themselves.
Good. And you mentioned being able to update, and it's important because being able to constantly grow your portfolio is huge, because that shows how you learn and how you develop and the accomplishments that you've been making throughout the process, right?
Yeah.
Because when we see the final product, and I'm guessing yours is going to turn out really well, okay, because of all the work that goes into it. And I really think the e-portfolio allows you to show the process, right?
Yeah, that way you can see like where you started from and where you finished, and there's going to be such a big difference. And then like the technology part of it is like crazy, because we didn't have that and now we do.
Are you excited about making your own documentary?
Oh yeah.
Are you going to be creative?
Yes, I've always been interested in making my own films. I think it's a cool idea, and I'm glad that we're doing this, because then I really get to try to do it myself.
And you see how it's going to bring your research further, right?
Yeah.
It's not just going out running around with the camera, but how to use the camera in a meaningful way, right? With different angles.
Digital content can be created anywhere at any place. Caroline Haebig wants her students to understand how technology gives them the opportunity to create a powerful message. Haebig teaches students to use camera angles in cinematic language to intelligently capture interviews and a moving image. To help students understand the basics of being a better documentarian, Haebig enlists Susan Kearns, the education director of Milwaukee Film. Students relished in the opportunity to learn from Ms. Kearns' work, ask questions, and most importantly, use her tips to bring their research to life. After Haebig utilized a variety of Web 2.0 tools to further engage her students in an ongoing academic research and writing process, she worked hard to help students explore how their research translates into real life. Today, students can go well beyond traditional research and writing. After bettering their writing skills, they can create digital media products, publish their work, maximize social media platforms, and share feedback, documenting the process of their learning. Students are using real-world tools to engage in a dynamic learning process. Haebig students created e-portfolios to document the progression of their work, helping them to grow as knowledgeable digital citizens. Creating interview questions is also a multi-step process. Haebig introduces her students to Google Docs, modeling how to use online tools to create, share, and revise their interview questions. Haebig believes that by teaching her students to ask smart, critical interview questions, her students will improve their chances for creating better content. Online tools give students and teachers the chance to engage in ongoing collaboration.
Recently, a classmate and I met at Carthage College with Miss Haebig and a colleague of hers to discuss the corrections or suggestions that they both made to our papers. Some of the suggestions she made was, on my paper, were to not use so many pronouns such as they. It's too vague and it's hard to understand what they is. In my paper, it could be multiple different things. I just need to explain more. And also synthesizing. I feel like she is correct when I'm just writing down what the author says in the articles. I need to synthesize more and explain my opinion and impact on what I think the articles are saying and how it relates to my topic. I plan on using the suggestions and corrections she made to my paper because it will help it out and help create a better final draft in the end.
In order to take the authenticity of her project to the highest level, Caroline Haebig organized a field trip to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where her students had the opportunity to interview leading researchers, professors, and university students who specialize in the content of her kids' work. Specifically, students toured the university's research center, which is the second largest survey research center in the nation. Students asked questions about how research is conducted, experienced firsthand accounts of researchers in action, and witnessed how different types of technology are being used to collect data, and to better understand how technology has changed survey research. Caroline Haebig knows that teenagers love to see how people close to their own age can be active in creating a change. Haebig students interviewed undergraduate campus Democrat and campus Republican chairmen in order to understand these young adults' motivation to make a positive change on campus and get involved in politics. Haebig students were excited to see how involved people similar in age are in politics and their leadership roles within their campus organizations. No project is complete without reflection along the way. After a very busy morning, Haebig students used their laptops to create video reflections, documenting their learning. Students then immediately uploaded their reflections to YouTube and posted them to their Google sites. Haebig's use of real-world tools and devices seamlessly connects the learning our students do inside and outside of the classroom.
And so far, the most interesting thing that I thought of this trip was the interview with the college representatives. I think it was interesting because of how close they are to our age, and how closely we can relate to them in getting involved in politics and in the community.
I learned from the survey center, that when asking questions, they want to try not to use the word "not," because it's too confusing to the people reading the questions and trying to answer them, because it causes them to think. It could make them think different views of the question, so they want a straight up answer of the question, and they don't want people to think, well, does it take off this way, is it going that way? And by going or straying away from using "not," you will end up getting unbiased answers.
After lunch, students had the opportunity to interview a graduate student who used to work at the New York Times. Haebig students wanted to further explore how changing trends in journalism, social media, and the web have changed how journalists and people obtain and share information in the information age. After working diligently to improve their research, learning how to write academic papers, students eagerly interviewed members of the political science department to gain deeper insight into their topics. And no information-based excursion would be complete without a stop at the Wisconsin Historical Society. In order to continually show their progress, students would post different cuts of their films on their sites. Haebig created and shared a Google Doc with all her students so she and her students could actively give feedback to each other about their films. Caroline Haebig uses technology to help all students share and document their thinking, providing ways for students to revisit the powerful conversations from class.
Hi, I'm Becky Hawkins, and this is my Reflection 3. When I got my Film Cut 1 feedback, it was mostly just figuring out my exact storyline, because when I first did my draft, it was mainly just get everything down, all the information you want to use, cut out the parts of the interview, and try to mesh it all together. But now that I got it all laid out, kind of like the blueprint, I need to really figure out what's my storyline, who are my characters, and how can I link all this information together, all my different topics, and how can I just make them all one topic into one film and make it so it makes sense to my audience and how they mesh together. Another thing I need to do, which will help my storyline, is make narrations, because I need to show, first of all, this is my project and I did the work, so I think it'll be good showing my audience that I know what I'm talking about and that I can explain what's going on. And also, these narrations will help me explain the information and introduce each topic, which it will be really nice.
And for my paper, I need to fix my conclusion, which is the biggest part I need to fix. I need to add more of what I talked about in my paper part to the conclusion so that it's more of a conclusion, not just random facts. And I also need to take out a citation I have in there because you can't cite in a conclusion since it's your own words. So I need to take that out and a bunch of just little grammar. And that's about it for my paper.
Haebig also uses iOS devices to capture live audio feedback. She then emails to her students for them to reflect on later. Throughout this project, students have used devices and apps to take notes, capture live audio, helping students to document their learning at all stages of the project. Caroline Haebig wants her students to understand that their course content is deeply embedded in the real world. Not only did she want her students to read and write about the psychological factors that shape political behavior, but she wanted them to explore the real-world motivations and people working to better their communities and society as a whole. Specifically, Haebig organized interviews with community leaders and political representatives. Students are challenged to tell the story of motivation, hard work, and finding ways to make a better tomorrow. Students ask powerful questions and use their camera to bring these interviews to life. Students are empowered by the opportunity to carry their voice outside the classroom by creating a digital product and film used to educate the larger community and beyond.
Hello, this is Tyler Shen, the creator of this e-portfolio. I feel that the e-portfolio is an excellent way to display my academic accomplishments. I feel that it is a great way to show what kind of person I am academically and outside of school. The thing that I am most proud of from my e-portfolio is the amount of work that I have posted on this website. I am also proud that all of the work on my website shows progression. It shows how a rough start can turn into an excellent piece of work. One element featured on my website is my film project, The Power of One. The Power of One is a documentary that uncovers the psychology behind politics. Throughout the film, I interview a wide range of individuals, including a former New York Times reporter, University of Wisconsin-Madison professors, graduate students, as well as political leaders from state and local government. Please view my film and enjoy.
In addition to publishing online, Caroline Haebig and her students are currently working to organize a public screening of their film.
Fix something or to do something to help someone else in a selfless way.
Citizens can be people who take care of their families and for whom politics is a quite secondary thing.
How your actions affect things that are going to happen in the future and things like that.
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to be involved and to feel effective.
Being able to see all sides of an issue, I think that's part of being a good citizen. You don't have to agree with every side of an issue or every perspective, but when you can really put yourselves in someone else's shoes and thinking, I think that that is a quality of someone who can really become a citizen of action.
You can't just think about yourself all the time. Part of, doing things for other people.
Being aware of how your decisions affect other people around you and thinking of the common good in the process. So whatever you do, you consider how it affects the community.